you for joining us today for a very exciting session on Ace Your Space with Gayatri Gandhi, who's India's first KonMari certified consultant, and she's also the founder of Joy Factory. I am Sukirti Gupta. I think a lot of you already know me. I'm the co founder of Sipping Thoughts. So, Sipping Thoughts is a multimedia platform company that was co founded by me and by Meeta Gudgutia. It was set up keeping in mind the tagline Real Women, Real Thoughts. We wanted to create a space for women to share their ideas and be heard, a no judgment platform, and create a network of women for women. Sipping Thoughts is available on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and of course, please do check out our website. And for what you've all been waiting for, Gayatri. I think this lockdown, like I had said, one of the unintended consequences, at least for me, has been that I have been really literally cleaning up my house. Maybe it was long overdue. Maybe this gave me a chance to really reflect on what I needed, what I didn't need. So we're very excited to have her with us today so that we can learn the KonMari method and the art of decluttering and organizing in this interactive talk that we're going to have today. So, a little bit about Gayatri. Gayatri is also the founder of Joy Factory, a company that provides decluttering and organization services to people for their premises. She is trained directly under Mary Kondo. I know if you've been watching her on Netflix like I have. So, that in itself is a treat. And the world renowned tidying expert. She has accomplished more than 500 plus hours of tidying and organizing across India via collaborative experiences and personal interactions. She is also a TEDx speaker and has delivered her talk at the IIM in Ahmedabad. So, welcome, Gayatri. And I know everybody is waiting to get started, so I'm not going to hold everybody up. So, over to you, Gayatri, and welcome to Sipping Thoughts.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. And good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to be a part yet again of yet another exciting webinar. I think this last 6 months have been very exciting to interact with many more people because of the lockdown and lots of Zoom interactions that are taking place. So a big thank you and thank you so much for coming in for today's session. So the session, like Suki said, it will be a very interactive session. And if you have any questions, you can please write it down in the chat and we'll be happy to take the questions towards the end of the session. So, okay, then let's get started. Let me begin by asking two very simple but quick questions. And you all can do like a thumbs up if it's a yes or a thumbs down if it's a no. So the first question is that how many of us got ready today in the morning and hung all our clothes behind the bathroom door? Okay, I can see no's and yeses. Okay, the other question is that how many of us have that one chair that has all the clothes in the world piled up? And by looking at it every day, we are like, let the weekend come and I'm going to definitely clear this out. Does that happen? Oh, I can see a lot of yeses and a lot of nos. But great. So thank you so much for being honest. So good evening, everyone. I'm Gayatri Gandhi. And as Suki said, I'm India's first certified KonMari consultant and founder of Joy Factory. Many of you may be aware of KonMari, while many of you may be wondering, KonMari. But well, that's not just you, but that's what everyone said. So when I started thinking of this as a business idea 4 years ago, and but trust me, it's been a wonderful journey. And what I would be sharing with you today are really things that fascinated me and made me realize and made me feel that it is not just me, but actually every one of us is going through so much in our lives, and we tend to blame situations and things around us, but actually the starting point for most of these things is actually clutter. So I mean, I don't know how many of you feel like this, but does anybody would like to tell me that what they feel, what is clutter? You can perhaps write it down in in the chat box. It's good, just to have a little reflection to see, what clutter is. Yes, I can see too many things around everywhere, piling up of things, too much stuff. Yes, exactly. Actually, you're so right. It's all of this and so much more. And in fact, clutter is something that, is not just things that are visible in front of us, which look like mess, but clutter is something that is stored inside those bed boxes, lofts, stores,
Closets.
absolutely, which we think that is stored properly, but actually if you're not giving, not looking it for over so many years, it's actually constituting clutter. So it's important to understand what, actual clutter is. So to give a very small example, that if you're having a cup of coffee, so this mug that I'm holding right now, if I'm drinking it and I keep having it, it is not clutter. But if I leave it here and it keeps on lying around till tomorrow, because this cup doesn't belong to this desk of mine right now, then it becomes clutter. Okay, so it's important to understand that not everything is clutter, but if that if that piece of item is not giving purpose to you at that point in time, then it constitutes clutter. So it's important to really understand, what is the real meaning behind clutter, because I know that when I did research for my company, a lot of people, like you rightly said, all of you have written down in the chat saying that it's mess, it things that are not useful, but we have to go a step beyond to see what actually clutter is, because when you will understand the meaning of clutter, automatically you will be able to realize and see in your environment, in your room, that what is actually, stopping us from going a step ahead. So another question that I wish to ask from you is that, do you feel that when you have a cluttered desk or a cluttered surrounding, do you feel it has a like a something playing on your mind as well? Does that happen?
Definitely for me.
Yeah. It disturbs you. Someone has written it disturbed me. Yes, absolutely. Actually, seldom do we realize and keep, like I said before, Lee, that we tend to blame a lot of other situations, people, things around us, saying that this is not working out in my life and things are not going on properly in my life because that is not right, this is not right. But if you think about it, clutter is one of the most, apparent reasons for, us not thinking clearly. And in fact, now science is proof, and in fact that's why even feng shui experts and so many people tell us that the first thing for you to become happy or you to become less stressful is first to please declutter or clear out your physical, space. So does anybody want to say how they feel after, if you have a cluttered space around you? I can see some of you have, written that it's cluttered mind, but does anybody have anything else to say? Yeah, you're not at peace, you feel disturbed. Yes, absolutely. So, couple of things that I want to just, mention here, that the effects of clutter can be very, very, drastic, harmful, and we don't realize it. So one of them is actually that it is actually like chaos and it restricts our ability to focus. And some of you who said that, they have a chair in the room that is filled up with clothes, actually what it does is gives us a busy signal to the brain, because the minute you walk into your room, you see that clutter and you're like, oh, I need to finish this, I need to finish it. So there's a constant botheration that keeps, coming through. Then of course a very big reason is very big effect, sorry, is the constant feeling of guilt. I'm sure that even if we go out somewhere, we come back, there's a constant feeling that, oh, I need to go back and finish that work. I need to go back and finish that work. So actually, the mind, without realizing, is constantly working. And that actually limits our ability to function and to be in the present. So I think that is something that we must realize, and an important aspect of clutter is that it takes you away from the moment and from the present. And I think no better time than right now, especially in the lockdown, for us to realize and understand that the present moment is your most important moment. And we don't know what the future holds for us, we don't know how it looks like. So why not make your present the best? and how you can make it most meaningful and most value creating. So talking about this, I now want to introduce to you the world renowned method of decluttering and organizing called the KonMari method. And some of you may know it, and some of you may not know it. So can I get a hands up for people who have heard of it? Great. I can see lots of yeses. Wonderful. So I want to talk about the KonMari method here, and basically it's a method which tells you a very, very important aspect of your life, that is by asking a question, does it spark joy? And I remember when I first heard of it, I was so excited. I felt that, wow, it makes so much sense that, if things don't make me happy today or don't make me happy, why am I holding on to things? So I think that aspect, really resonated and made me feel that this is something that I, really wanted to, explore further. So I want to talk about the KonMari, method. So it was started by the world-renowned tidying expert Marie Kondo, and this is actually a method, or in fact, a way of life, wherein you cherish things by asking yourself this honest and a very genuine question: does it spark joy? And but why this method is so popular is that how many of you feel that when you want to start, when you say that today perhaps I'm going to do my decluttering, or I will do my today I'm going to start with a mission, we all focus on what we want to throw out? Does that is that our focus? Yeah. But the KonMari method is very interesting and very positive, because it it reverses it and says that you should be focusing on what you should be keeping. So when the focus shifts from what I should be keeping rather than getting obsessed with what I should be throwing, automatically you will see that there is a very positive shift in your way of thinking, and in which how you declutter. And I remember that when I did my decluttering, this was in like about 5 years ago now, that I remember when I first heard of this method, I came back home and I started watching the videos online. I read up the book, and my husband is like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, you don't understand, life is going to change, you wait and watch. And actually that happened, because the most wonderful part of Marie Kondo and her books is that what she's written actually comes true. And that's why I want to share this with you, because all the things that she had written in her books, I felt it in my life, So I remember when the time I did my decluttering, I helped my husband do so. And a lot of his projects that were stuck for a very long period of time suddenly started opening up, and a lot of projects came through. So I'm not saying that he didn't work hard, but of course he did. But what I'm trying to say, that the clutter that he had actually hoarded on to, thinking that it doesn't, why should I need to look at that area, when we decluttered and when he realized that he should just be keeping things that make him happy, or things that spark joy, things started opening up, not just in his life but in my life as well. And the business projects that were stuck for 5 6 years suddenly started opening up. And it was not me telling him this. In fact, he was the one who came and told me that, Gayatri, I feel that after decluttering has happened, a lot of things have started opening up. And that's when I realized that what Marie Kondo says in her book as well, that actually clutter is nothing but negative energy. A lot of time we hold on to negative energy, and which is why when we don't clear it out, there is no space for other kinds of energy to enter in. And the biggest example I want to tell you here is spring cleaning, or rather Diwali cleaning. I'm sure all of you would be gearing up to do Diwali cleaning. Everything will come out, everything will be cleaned, and everything will go back. So I would say that please don't do it this time. It's important that now that you will be making that effort, that things come out, please ensure that you're able to identify and understand that what you should be keeping, like I said, rather than focusing on what you should be throwing. and you'll see a very positive shift in what you should be, keeping. The other aspect I wish to talk about is tidying and cleaning. So I want to ask here that how many of you feel and think that tidying and cleaning are one and the same thing? Are are they, or are they not? Any hands up? Or so what I want to say is a lot of people, yes, are saying yes, and some are saying no. Yeah, okay, great. So what I want to share here is that, a lot of time we have been using cleaning, organizing, decluttering synonymously. In fact, when mothers used to tell their children that please go clean your room, she did not mean that you start sweeping the room, but because we end up using this word synonymously with tidying, a lot of people get confused. And so I want to bring out this difference, because that was something that really fascinated me at that time, was that that tidying actually deals with objects that have been placed by us only, because a cluttered room is entirely our own doing. So like I said, that if I didn't pick up this mug and keep it back in the kitchen, it is my fault. It is up to me that I didn't do it. Whereas cleaning is the removal of naturally accumulated dust and dirt that has to be done on a regular basis, because it's the law of nature that all this will come from the universe. So in fact, Marie Kondo puts it rather simply. She says that tidying is the act of confronting yourself, whereas cleaning is the act of confronting nature. Interesting, right? I was very fascinated when I got to know about this. And that's when I felt that, wow, something new, one is being able to understand. Now, going forward into the KonMari method, what I want to explain here is that so there are two unique aspects to the KonMari method. And of course, one of them is, like asking yourself this question: does it spark joy? But I'm sure most of you must be asking yourself that how do we tidy our space by retaining items that only spark joy, right? So it's very interesting that, well, when you pick up an item in your hand, if that item no longer evokes a sense of excitement, happiness, joy, or brings a smile on your face, are the items that should be acknowledged and thanked before you let them go. And those are the items that you should be, giving away. And the other is that if when you feel this excitement coming into your life, are the items that should be kept with you, because actually the purpose of our life is to be happy. And if we are able to keep things that make us happy, and I think the lockdown has made us realize that, why not keep things that make us happy today? So I want to ask you one thing again here, that how many of you visualize a life? I'm sure all of you have goals and aspirations for a beautiful life. So does it have clutter? When you visualize your ideal life, do you feel, or do you look at clutter? Does it picture? Not at all, right? So if we don't want it in the future, I fail to understand, why can't we do it now? And I think the lockdown is this period where you're able and should be doing it, where you're able to really understand and think of things that you should be keeping that make you happy. So coming back to the KonMari method, there are two unique aspects to the KonMari method. And I'll just share my screen 1 minute. So the KonMari method, like I said, sorry. Yeah, the first is the category wise, decluttering. And the 5 major categories are clothes, books, papers, miscellaneous items, and sentimental items. And what it really means is that traditionally, all our life, we have been decluttering or tidying room by room or location by location. And that, actually results in a lot of disaster, because we end up storing same kind of things in different parts of the house. And you must have seen that when you declutter one particular room, and then when you go into the other room, then suddenly you realize that, oh, I had my clothes here as well. And one is not able to take things in complete objectivity and perspective, which is why Marie Kondo suggests that you should be decluttering category wise. And the other is, of course, the very world famous way of storing your clothes, which is the world vertical stacking, which really is that you're able to fold your clothes in such a manner that they look like that they're standing up together. They look like this, if you can see. And this is very interesting, because if I pull out something, then nothing else gets disturbed. And which is why the probability of mess really decreases, because I'm sure you must have seen that at times when you put clothes horizontally on one top of the other, when you pull out something from below, the pile falls and you shove everything inside. And then you're like, let the weekend come, or forget it, I'll do it later. Which is why the KonMari method is so successful, because you're able to see everything together, and everything standing vertically. So I'm sure a lot of you may be having questions on this, but what I have shared today is something that really sparked joy within me, and something that made a lot of sense to me. So a lot of you may be feeling that it may work for me, it may not work for me. That's perfectly fine. But what I can tell you is that please give it a try, give it a shot. And if it doesn't spark joy, don't do it. But there's no harm in trying it and doing it. And trust me, I've been doing it for the last 5 years now. And I can see that my room is not messy. My almirah is just the way it was when I set it 5 years ago. And things around me, are making me so happy. And suddenly I feel there's a lot of time that I have, because a lot of you, I mean, a lot of us, that's the reason that we give to ourselves, that I don't have time, so I can't, do it. But I want to say it the other way, that I have time because I'm organized. So I really want all of you to say that to yourself as well, that when you will do this method of KonMari, you'll see that your life becomes very, very interesting and very, very happy. So that's all I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much. If we have your questions, you can write it down, and I'll be happy to answer those.
Loads of questions coming, which Damini will start with. Go ahead, Damini.
Yes, so quite a few interesting questions coming up, and people are right now actually asking a lot of questions. We will start with Richa. Richa, I've unmuted you. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Gayatri ma'am. Can you hear me?
Hi. Hi.
Hi. So I had two questions.
Yes.
One is that, so for decluttering, would you suggest something like minimalistic living, so that there isn't much clutter to think about at all? And the second thing is, for your vertical stacking, are there any kind of like particular boxes to use? Because everyone's almirah is different. You may not have those kind of shelves. So what would you suggest?
Yeah, okay, great question. I think the first one, very important. I want to say that minimalism and the KonMari method are two different things. Yes, they stem from the same aspect of decluttering, but minimalism talks about keeping things that are just right, whereas the KonMari method talks about keeping things that make you happy and make you feel joyful. So if for someone, it maybe 10 pairs of jeans make them happy, please go ahead and keep it. But if for some only two pairs make them happy, that's also fine. So minimalism and KonMari method are two separate in that sense. And the other aspect about storing your clothes vertically, to begin with, I would say that please don't go shopping buying baskets before decluttering, because that's adding to clutter. Please look at things which are already in your homes, and trust me, shoe boxes are one of the best ways of using in the form of baskets. And even wedding boxes, or the wedding invites that people get, they are also very sturdy, very good. And there are, after you have seen the things that are available in your house, if it's still you feel that you need more, then perhaps you can go to the market and then find, and there are enough stores now. There's IKEA, there's Muji, there's Home Center, there's Miniso. There are a lot of stores which are available who are selling very interesting baskets and boxes that can be used for, you know, stacking your clothes in the most joy sparking manner.
Okay, next question we're going to take from Meera. Meera, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Gayatri. My question is, how does this KonMari folding work for Indian attires like sari, salwar?
So actually, it's very interesting that when you will do the KonMari method and when you'll start applying it into various garments of yours, you'll see that you'll be able to talk to your clothes. I know it may sound stupid, but trust me, over the years, I've seen that, you know, the garments tell you if they want to be folded or they want to be hung. So of course, there are a lot of items which are very flimsy in material, like chiffon or very silk. Yes, they cannot be folded in the sense, I mean, they can be folded, but you would rather that you hang them, so that you please, you know, hang them. But cottons and other, you know, material, they can be very, very in like folded very easily, so please fold them. So even for folding your Indian attire, like my suits and my salwars, my chudidars, they're all folded in the KonMari method if they can be folded. But if they are very heavy items, very like lehengas and all, like I remember when I went to New York and when I met Mari over there, in fact, I took my wedding lehenga there. And I said that, you know, all this KonMari method of folding is interesting, but what do I do about my Indian wear? And it's very funny, interesting that she folded my lehenga and made it into like a tiny little, rectangle. And I remember that she looked at me and she, you know, she felt that it was not making me happy because all our Indian wear is full of embellishments, embroidery, and we wouldn't want that thing to become so tiny. So her answer was very interesting, and that's what I want to tell you, that if it sparks joy, please fold it like that. If it doesn't spark joy, then you can please hang it and, you know, store it in the traditional manner that we have been doing. So after you keep doing this permutation and combination, you'll see that you'll be able to find the sweet spot on how certain things need to be folded and how certain things need to be hung. That's all.
So next question is from Shalini, and she has a very interesting point. You know, if a shared space is with two people and they have different ideas of decluttering. So Shalini, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Gayatri, very
Hi.
insightful session. Thank you so
you.
much. Okay, it's been like kind of an agony with me. Every year I'm cleaning and I get into a bad argument with my mother-in-law of not, disposing of certain things. And I'm the type of a person who wants to be with a minimalist living and, keep decluttering every month. And she is just the opposite. And it's now getting on me. How do I go? I know I make her understand. I do everything I can, but this seems to be an endless. Every year it's being, repeated, this argument of.
No, actually, you're right. In especially in India. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I'm saying you're right, because in India, because we belong to joint family systems and usually the in-laws stay with us, can be a problem. But I think to begin with, it's important to first declutter your own space rather than focusing on a shared space. And only, one has to lead by example. So of course, I'm not denying that you may not be doing so already, but continue to focus on your space only. And if you are then coming into the shared space, I think then it's important to have a dialogue and, really identify the areas that perhaps come under her purview and things that come under your purview, and then come to a solution together. Yes, in the long run, harmony of the house is far more important than this. But I think to be able to start with, it's important to focus on your area first rather than starting with areas which are shared. So it will be a long process. I'm not denying that. But even in my case as well, I can say that I started out doing it for my space, and I did it for almost 3 years. It is only last year that my mother-in-law has, accepted it and felt that I can now take over the shared space, and she's happy with my, so to say, decluttering. So I'm saying that you need to focus on your thing first, and then slowly and very gradually move into the shared space of the house.
Thank you so much.
So we'll take a last question from Amit. Amit, we have asked you to unmute yourself. Okay, so I
Maybe
think
we can ask his question.
we're not able to unmute him. So his question is, do these systems have any effect on our satisfaction and being contented mindset, having a contented mindset? And do they also teach us or train us not to not be in business of showmanship?
In the business of showmanship. Okay, showman. Yeah, exactly. It does happen. In fact, I have seen it that a lot of my clients, they after when I've finished their decluttering after a year, they come back and they tell me that a lot of things that they were doing just for maybe perhaps just to show to their, extended family, friends, they have suddenly now realized the need of, how things should spark joy for them and for their own family, and it's not about things around you. So there is a definite change that one feels in your mindset, and trust me, you will be able to see a lot of change that comes into your maybe financial status as well. Because I remember one client of mine, she was heavily into online shopping, and but when she understood this whole concept of spark joy and how that you should be holding each item in your hand to feel if that makes you happy, she realized that online shopping maybe was not making sense to her, because she wanted to touch and feel every item that she bought. And obviously the shopping went down, the bank balance went up, she became happy, the husband became happy, and suddenly things changed in her life. So I want to say that there is definitely a mind shift that takes place. All you need to do is to firstly start and then continue with it, and then you'll see a big difference in your own life.
Wow, that was exciting. But I think I'm having a bad connection.
Yeah.
I hear an echo in my voice, so I don't know if that's happening. But two questions I want to end with. One, I think it's coming from Aishwarya, that Marie talks a lot about visualizing a place. Any tips around this? And the second, a lot of the things that we have in our house is what we consider practical stuff. Like if I go around tidying my kitchen, then most of the stuff I'll probably say doesn't spark joy, but it will come down to I need this, I need this, I need this. So these are the last two questions I'd like to hear your thoughts on.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So yes, Mari definitely talks about visualizing. And like I had said in my talk as well, that when we visualize an ideal life or ideal future, clutter never functions in that. So it's important that you visualize. The starting point of decluttering is to visualize that what is the kind of the home that you would be wanting. And to that, you can, see a lot of magazines. There's pictures available online. There's Pinterest. There's so much that's happening that you can see that that you want to really visualize how your life would be. So please visualize and make like a storyboard or a visual board, so that you get motivated that you want your home to eventually look like that. The second aspect of that you have spoken about is that like what we need to really understand is that uh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So, the part of practicality, yes, very important. In fact, Marie Kondo suggests in her book as well that maybe a screwdriver does not make us feel happy, but the functionality of the screwdriver, because it makes the task easier for us to open an item, makes us happy. So there are certain items that, yes, of course, you need for practicality purposes, functionality basis. So the joy sparking factor then does not always become, that it makes me happy like that. It shifts to the functionality or the ease that it provides you while carrying out that, thing. So, but like I said, the category wise decluttering, starting from the easiest category of clothes, then moving on to the most difficult category, that is sentimental item, will enable you to hone your joy sparking skills. So don't start with your most difficult category, which is like photo album, because I'm sure some of you must have seen that when you say that I want to start decluttering and a photo album comes in front of you, everybody starts looking at that photo album and you start reminiscing the past, and the time 1 hour goes away and you're like, forget it, I don't feel like decluttering. So it's important therefore to start with an easier category and then move on to the most difficult category, which is sentimental items.
Well, Gayatri, thank you for this wonderful session. Any last tips before we sign off for this evening?
Yes, sure. The first and I think very important tip that I wish to share with all of you is that everybody says that what is that one thing that I should do that makes me, feel happy and decluttered. I think the first is to make your bed in the morning. I think the aspect of making your own bed in the morning is very interesting because number one, it instantly clears out your room because suddenly those folded, your folded quilts, your folded bed cover, it just makes you feel that you're set for the day. And the other aspect is that it gives you a sense of accomplishment in the very start of the day, and that will enable you to do a lot of small little aspects and small little things during the course of the day, which is important, that will help you feel very empowered and taking on the day's challenges in a much effective manner.
Well, thank you, Gayatri, for being with us, and thank you all for joining us today. I know this was a very quick session, but the video will be available on our Facebook site and, of course, on YouTube. Thank you all, and I wish you all a very good night.